Hello lovelies, heads up, I'm probably going to bombard you with videos today because there's a lot that I need to comment on, or I feel the need to comment on, and a lot of it is quite time sensitive. So in addition to the RPG a day thing I've been doing, you're going to get a few videos today. So yesterday I went back to hospital for a follow-up on these nasal problems I've been having for about 3 years now, I guess, gradually escalating. I've been having a huge problem with sinus headaches, them not going away, them spreading and becoming much worse, much larger headaches, and so on. Finally got to the point after I think the third one in a week that I went to the doctor and said, look, I don't think I'm making this up. I'm getting all these really bad regular headaches that are starting in my sinuses and then spreading. Worried something might be wrong. Within a reasonable amount of time, I got an appointment at the hospital. That was just after we'd tried other things. So when I first went to the doctor, we tried other things and then onto the hospital in reasonably short order. I think the wait was about a month and a half. Not too bad. Went to the hospital, had a greased camera shoved up my nose and down into my throat. If you've seen Total Recall, you know the scene where he pulls the bug out of his nose, grotesque, but kind of like that, except in rather than out. And they spray you with this numbing agent that tastes even worse than dental anesthetic, you know, the local anesthetic, and they inject in your gums and they always spill some, and it always makes the rest of your face and throat numb, and it always tastes fucking horrible. Same kind of stuff. So I had the indignity of having that shoved down both my nostrils. Then I went for a CT scan, and we found some things, but they weren't necessarily too worrying, and the specialist wanted to confer with the head of department. But basically what she diagnosed me as having was bone spurs in this nostril, and my septum is slightly deviated this way, which is constricting airflow in that nostril. Bone spurs, bit worrying, could be a clue that something else was going on. Deviated septum they can fix, and the bone spur they can fix by basically rasping it off, essentially, under anaesthetic. So there's a possibility of having an operation, which I'm not keen on. It's not the operations that I'm worried about, it's the being knocked out, it's the being completely unconscious, it's being anaesthetized the whole way, right? I don't like that. To the extent that when I had to have my wisdom teeth out because they grew sideways, I had that done under local anaesthetic. And these pains are similar to the ones I was having with my wisdom teeth, weirdly enough. So I had that done under local, which was quite disconcerting, and lots of crunching and yanking. It's not as gentle an operation as you might think it might be. There was a lot of sort of deliberate shattering and breaking of teeth and pulling shards out and things like that. That was an interesting experience to go through, conscious, because I had particularly bad wisdom teeth impacting. But yeah, I'm not keen on operations. Now they had to wait for the results. I had blood work done, a whole bunch of other things, right? So then I came back yesterday. So it was mid to end of April, I think I went in. So May, June, July, August, midway through August. About 3 to 4 months for the follow-up, right? And meanwhile I was on a treatment regimen that they gave me of nasal steroids and things that were supposed to help the problems they had identified. And I've lost about 20 pounds. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Yeah, all these other things that they told me to do that could help, and they did seem to help. I've only been getting the headaches about once every 2 weeks. 1 to 2 weeks, 2 weeks on average, I guess. So things did improve. They got better, but because I was doing so many different things, so many lifestyle changes, I guess, it was hard to figure out quite what was making the difference. But I was feeling better, but they hadn't gone away. It wasn't helped because I had one. I very rarely get migraines. I think I've had 4 in my life, and I had 1 in this period, so that didn't help matters. But otherwise, everything seems a lot better. Went back yesterday. Fortunately, I didn't get the camera rammed down my nose again. Talked to someone more senior in the department this time, and the CT scan showed that there's nothing wrong. There's no brain tumours or, aneurysms waiting to pop or bone cancer in my nose or face or anything like that. All my head tubes seemed fine, so I'm at least healthy from the top of my head to the bottom of my neck, which is good to know. I suppose no anomalies found there. Everything seems crystal clear, all fine, all dandy, no problem. So I don't need the operation, which is welcome news for me. And what was interesting was the blood work analysis. So they ran a whole bunch of allergen tests and other things, and we were kind of expecting that maybe it would come out that I was allergic to my cats. Not that that would make any difference, I wouldn't get rid of them, love them to death. Or as a child I had asthma, quite bad, and it was an allergy triggered asthma that came in sort of September, October time at the worst. So just sort of the back to school sort of time. And the doctor speculated it was because of leaf mold or mushroom spores or fungal molds, something like that, or damp, or some kind of fungus was causing it. But then I grew out of that. I got better from that, right? So we weren't particularly expecting any kind of allergen to show anything. Then if it did, we would expect it to be cats. But what it turns out is, from this test, I have at some point in the last few years, because it never used to bother me at all, I have at some point developed a really, really severe dust-mite allergy. So, dust mites are these little bugs. They live absolutely everywhere that humans go, right? They're in your carpets, they're in your soft furnishings, they're in your clothes, they're in your soft toys, they're in your curtains. They're everywhere, basically, and there is no getting rid of them. So don't waste your money on house sprays that are supposed to kill them or whatever. All you can really do is reduce the amount of cloth and cover in your house. You can make your house drier using dehumidifiers, things like that. You can hoover more frequently, all that kind of thing. That's all you can do. But yeah, I have at some point developed a really severe allergy to dust mites. This struck me as a bit odd, sort of late onset allergies developing. But I did some reading on it, and if you had eczema or if you had asthma or whatever else as a kid, you're at a much higher risk of developing an adult reaction, an adult allergy, which seems to be what's happened here. As you get older, your immune system stops being quite so effective, and one of the ways that can happen is that it can overreact to the wrong thing, which seems to be what's happening here. My body is overreacting to dust mites. So yeah, I've got to make a few lifestyle changes around here. The office is actually pretty dust free, plastic flooring and so on. I guess I can dust around the books and so on. The problem I'm having, of course, is that the act of cleaning stirs up dust. So in order for me to make my environment better and safer for me, I need to be able to clean, for which I need to be able to not expose myself to dust. So I've ordered some fairly cool dust masks. A cool thing about cosplay is you can get all kinds of really cool dust mask designs now, and ones that are genuinely effective or are washable or have replaceable filters, things like that. So I'm getting some cute dust masks. Maybe I'll model a few on the channel, see how that goes. But yeah, so more lifestyle changes for me, and I think I'm going to work to keep the weight off and various other things. But all things considered, I'm okay, which I'm very glad for, and I don't need an operation, which I'm also very glad for. Thank you for listening to me witter on and be self-indulgent. Zang.
In his house in Merlier, great Cthulhu lies dreaming, and when he awakens, he shall have the morning wood of aeons. Call of Cthulhu is a deeply pornographic card game. Enjoy your tentacles.
And I'm so dirty, Call me daddy. You're so sexy. You could be my bad girl. If someone hurt you and you tried to hide it, I'll cut you deeper, 'cause I know you like it.